we've got enough time for that.
All right, cool. So it says we're live. Um, I don't know how or how many views or viewers we may get, but yeah, dude.
There's only one way to find out.
Yeah, exactly. Does it say how many viewers? Do you have a tab that says how many viewers or this and that?
I'm pulling that up now and seeing what's what that way.
I got
Well,
you.
to see if I can see.
Right.
Okay. Eh. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah.
Did you get any
Cool.
of it pulled
No,
up
it's
or
just,
whatever?
yeah, I've got the stream up on your YouTube channel now, so I have. So
Oh, really?
yeah, yeah.
Oh.
I just opened up a new tab and
Hmm.
I can see what other people are saying and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, you can.
The chat's there, so it is. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I'm gonna go to that real quick. So how was it?
Dude, it was great. So it was ran a bit longer than I intended, but that's never a bad thing, so it's not. But it was good worship, good time, good service all around. So it was. What about yourself? How was things today?
It was good. So I had to I guess I had to kind of it sounds bad, but skip out on church today because it was my wife's son's birthday party and stuff. So
Yeah.
I figured I can go to church I guess next week or keep going from then on out. But I thought I'd holy cow, there's people already here. Good night. But yeah, I thought I'd skip on that
Cool.
just to take care of the family side of it, you know, I guess hang
Yeah.
out with all the family, everybody else, and it was good. It was good. But other than that, it was all right. It was all right.
That's good. Like I always look at church as a place to go to worship and to sort of like recharge yourself for the week, for the time ahead when if you're not there, you know. At least that's my sort of thoughts on it.
Yeah, exactly. I know we kind of talked a little briefly about it, uh, about church services. Do you guys have one midweek or?
Yeah, a Bible study on a Wednesday in the
Uh-huh.
church I go to, and then there's 3 prayer meetings spread out throughout the week as well.
Okay.
So there is. So there's plenty of opportunities. Let's put it that way to get out and to be in the right place.
Right on. Right on. Well, let's get into it. You got your questions ready? Just kind of the get to know one another, kind of the interview questions.
Yeah, sure. And I got 2 sort of categories, okay?
Okay.
And you can sort of pick from which one you'd like
All
more.
right.
Sorry, that's older Broadway at the door. Sorry.
No, it's all good.
So the first ones would be more faith orientated, and the other ones would be more worldly orientated. So
Right.
which would you like?
Let's just do one of each. Let's do that. I'm gonna change locations because my Wi-Fi is acting all up. So let me get over here. It's like you're all twitchy and stuff. So you pick, man. You go ahead with whatever one you want.
Okay, sure. We'll go with right. For you, when was your decision time to decide, right, this is the right time for me to start riding a motorcycle?
That's that's a really good question. Before I answer that though, I've got the chat pulled up, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna give a shout out to Army Sniper first because this guy is just blowing up the chat feed. So shout out to that guy. Second, you know, as a kid, I got a little Yamaha, little 80cc dirt bike. Yeah, I was really young. It didn't run, which was the crummy part, so I couldn't ride it. But I always wanted to ride. I always wanted to be on something with 2 wheels, something that had that kind of like that fast, go fast part.
Yeah.
You know, throughout the years, I really never had a dirt bike or had a motorcycle to ride. I really learnt, if you will. But I guess for me, going through high school, I had friends who had sport bikes. It's like, man, how's your parents letting you own a sport bike? And I was like, man, I want to get one. And I finally got a job. I finally really worked hard, and I did drifting for a little while, and I thought, man, it'd be nice to have a motorcycle because it was getting really expensive to own a drift car or a race car at that time, and it was just getting really ridiculous. So I thought, I'm gonna get a motorcycle, get something that I can work on that's less expensive. Two less wheels means half the cost almost, depending on how you look at it.
Fair
But
enough. Less
exactly,
tire cost right there, so it
yeah,
is.
yeah, less expense for sure. If it breaks, it's not too expensive to fix. And I got my first bike, which was the R6. It was my first sport bike, first road bike, which was last year, sometime in. I think we kind of talked about it a little bit through comments. It was July, August, somewhere around there, and that was pretty cool. And it needed engine work, so I got the valves adjusted. It ran like new, and then like 2 months later, this month of last year, I bought the grom, so that was pretty cool. Um, but I don't know. There was never really a right time to buy it for me, or necessarily a wrong time. It was just the opportunity really presented itself. I pulled up my pants and really started working hard to buy a motorcycle because other than buying my first car, which I saved as I was a kid, my mom and dad would just put money into a savings account. So I
Yeah.
had money to buy a car when I got older. Well, I really had to buckle down and put my own money together to get a bike. And I didn't have anybody to say no, you can't get it, or no. My wife was real supportive of it too, so that was actually pretty nice. And
Oh, that's
uh,
good. So it is that way.
yeah,
It's good
so
that there was that support behind it.
exactly. So unfortunately, she let me get two, which could be good or bad, but hey, it works out pretty good.
She was
Um,
probably thinking here that maybe someday I'll ride the R6.
yeah, hopefully so. Hopefully so. So I guess my question for you, this can be a one or two question. Uh, do you follow MotoGP?
Short answer, no.
Okay. Okay. So I guess this won't apply to this one. So this will be my next question then. This is kind of a two-part question as well. Would you what is your next bike, and or B, what is your dream bike? Because my dream bike would
Okay.
be my next bike, but that could be different for you. So go ahead.
Well, I'll elaborate on the MotoGP note real quick. I don't watch it. I sort of keep my ear to the ground now and again, but other than that, it's not really my cup of tea.
Right.
But next bike is honestly, it's going to be a Grom. Next bike for me, and I think it's honestly what it's going to be because I ride all year, and at the moment it's starting to come into it's all the leaves on the ground. It's very slippery, and
Right.
I'm a fairly small guy, so like I on a good day weigh 120 pounds. I'm not an overly large guy, so having a small lightweight bike for just general round the town type stuff is realistically what I want, and it's by no means my dream bike. It's the dream bike is it's remember that video Icon did, the Drift 4K
Mhm.
video?
Mhm.
Well, I got in touch with Vigil and Nick Apex. That's his nickname. I can't remember his actual last name. And Nick got back to me and basically gave me the parts list of to how to make those Triumph Street Triples. So that's honestly my dream bike right there in a nutshell.
I hear you. Right on.
Without the turbo, because I don't really need a turbo.
I do need a turbo. Of course
I
you
can
do.
I can live with I can live without the turbo and the stretch swing arm. I can live without them, I think.
Right. Right on.
Now you've piqued my interest as to what is your next bike?
Okay, so it's something that it's gonna be unfortunately a process in getting it. I'm definitely gonna put the work into it to get it. And I don't know why it's my dream bike, but after owning an R6, um, I guess it's your smaller version of the super sports. And then after owning a Grom and realizing how much fun you can have on one of those things, uh, and what I've learned, and I guess the responsibilities and um, I guess pros and cons of everything that I've learned just crashing and wrecking and uh, not crashing and wrecking, if you will. I really want to get a bigger bike. I guess not so like a naked bike or anything like that, but I just want to have a bigger sport bike, which would ultimately and unfortunately be an R1, just a regular R1, not an R1M or anything. But I don't know what it is. I guess it's all the technology and all the awesome stuff that comes with it, And I don't know. That's it. That's my dream bike. Period. Um, and
Well,
I
it's
really
a
want that one to be my
it's
next
gorgeous
one.
right there. So it is. It's just stunning. So it is.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. So go ahead.
No,
What's
it's a very pretty bike. So it is.
unfortunately. So what do you got next? What do you got lined up next?
Right. It's another one going back in time a bit for you. When was it that you sort of felt that God was drawing you to do your thing on YouTube and sharing the messages that God lays in your heart?
That's awesome. That's a good question. Why didn't I think of something that good? That's really good. Um, you know, I briefly in one of my videos, it was my testimony video. I talked about briefly how I really came to where I am as strong as I am in Christ, and really kind of a little bit of my backstory and how it came to where I was at that moment in life. Um, with me actually going out into the motovlogging community and riding a motorcycle and sharing the gospel. At work, I got to thinking one day on my lunch break, and I got to thinking, how in the world did I actually obtain this motorcycle, let alone two? I think I had before I actually started vlogging. I bought the Grom as well, and I thought, how in the world did I actually come to own these machines? Like it wasn't by my will. Something else in me had me, to push. I believe, um, and I really don't
Mhm.
believe I didn't get it just for my pure enjoyment. Some things I do, yeah. But this was like a really big life changing decision for me. It can either a bring me great excitement, it can really make me happy, or it could kill me. And that's the truth of it every day that we ride. And I thought, man, I'd love to moto vlog. I'd love to actually film some of this stuff and put it out there. But you know what? I'm just a normal guy. I don't really have nothing exciting or cool to talk about. So kind of got laid on my heart. It's like, hey, go out there and be a light. Just do your thing. Moto vlog, but also share my word. And I thought, man, am I just hearing this? Like this is I couldn't have thought of this on my own. There's no way. And I thought, wow, this is too good to be
Yeah.
true. So I talked to my wife about it, and I said, hey, I'm thinking actually about motovlogging, getting a GoPro, and doing this. What do you think? And she goes, go for it. So sure enough, it was a step by step process, and I kind of had this vision of like doing the scripture Sundays and doing normal videos on Wednesdays. And, I never thought it'd lead up to something like this, but after looking at this year in review, because this month, actually November the 13th, was the first day I created my YouTube account. So it was the first day I actually made the channels. So I'm coming up on a year anniversary here. So which is pretty cool. And I reflect
Nice.
back on the year and I'm like, wow, I've met Chase on Two Wheels, Do It with Dan, Yummy R6, Hawk and R. He's a local guy as well, and just other great
Mhm.
guys that ride and are in the channel. Um, it would, it's just it's been a great year meeting the whole community, the bike family, and I just think I look back on it, and if I actually didn't take that step of faith, if I didn't get out of the boat, if you will, and pursue the
Yeah,
calling and go to the vision, I really wouldn't be. I'd be missing all of this. So really,
yeah,
I'm just kind of just yielding to what and how and where he would want me to go from here. And all I can do is listen and, like you were talking about, obey. So that was it. It was just something that nudged me to do it and really not take these personal possessions, these earthly possessions for granted, and really pursue
yeah.
um, that being different part. So
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
um,
Like, it's awesome the fact that you felt that it was a God-given thing rather than an earthly, worldly thing, which is really awesome. So it is, in my personal opinion, at least.
yeah, right on. Um, since this is not a scripted video, I think you might see it, Luke, Mark. He said, do you have any suggestions about, do you have any suggestions thinking off moving up to a bigger bike? Um, some advice would be appreciated. Well, it's kind of funny. We just talked about that going from the R6 to the R1. You know, that's funny. Going from the Grom to the R6. For me, anyway, I wish I would have started with the Grom instead of the R6. I've definitely learned a lot more on the Grom than the R6. Um, I don't know. It being on your side, Luke, what do you think about it? Because I don't know what you've ridden and all. So
Well, I started off on my ER6, which is a 650cc parallel twin.
mm,
Our licensing laws are kind of fiddly. We're not just allowed to go out and hop on a Busa if we wanted to. But
right,
even though I know of some people who have, but I honestly feel that starting on a lower CC bike, a lower capacity, means you'll learn a lot more. Sorry, my mum just popped her head
that's all good.
in. um, Starting off in the lower class, you learn to ride a slow bike fast. Now, I just ignored that and went to a fairly large capacity bike. But I
Right.
think no matter what you start off with, it's always about the respect of it and not just jumping straight in and grabbing a handful of throttle front
Yeah.
brake, because it's never going to end well. So whether or not you're going, at least this is my opinion on it, whether or not you're going from the likes of a Grom to an R6 or an R6 to an R1 or an R1 to a Busa,
Right.
the progression I personally feel is more about your restraint and understanding respect for the machine rather than just being a bull in a china shop and destroying everything, and sooner or later you're just going to pop off probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, I was kind of like that. Here in the U.S. we don't have any laws like that or regulations, if you will. But I wrecked on the R6, and I didn't think it would ever happen. I thought if I was to wreck or get in an accident, it'd be somebody else's fault. Well, that fell from me not having a lot of knowledge and just not having really the respect I should have, or being as cautious. And I look back on it, and I think that wreck was really due to cold tires and just really not knowing how to ride properly. So I paid the price for it. Thankfully, I walked away from it, but it was it was definitely an eye opener. Like I said, I wish I would have started on the Grom and then progressed to the R6. I really wish I would have. But now I look back on it, and I think if I just rode the Grom and then got an R6, I'd go hooligan on the R6 and then end up worse than what I am. I have a little more respect for the R6, especially um, now that I know the limit of the Grom, which I take to the track. I know the limit of the R6, which I still want to push it, but it's my limit and how comfortable I feel. Um, you know, I guess what are your thoughts on the Z125, Luke? Have you seen it?
I've seen a few pictures of it, um, and I'm in two minds with it. I'll be honest. As a basic bike, as it comes from the showroom, it looks a nicer bike than the Grom, or
Right.
for us it's MSX, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah.
But the thing about the Grom that makes it so awesome is what there is out there for it. Like, I found turbo kits for Groms, nitrous kits for them, like insane things that just aren't there for the Z125, that
Yeah.
you don't have the ability to make it yours. Now, don't get me wrong, some people look at it and be like, yep, that's the bike I want, that's just perfect for me.
Yeah.
But my heart still goes to the Grom, so it does.
No, I'm with you. I am very excited though that more manufacturers are hopping on the mini bike craze and actually starting to come out with a bike like this because it's very appealing to everybody. I mean, it's a buttload of fun. Period. And I'm glad Kawasaki's making their 125 because like when I go to races now, hopefully the Z125 isn't going to be out over here until who knows when, but supposedly.
Yeah, it could be a long time.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's gonna start over in the UK or somewhere over there, maybe the Asia region. I'm not too sure exactly, but I know they're
I
starting
wouldn't
them
be
over there.
surprised if it. I wouldn't be surprised if it was those sort of two regions that got it first,
Yeah,
because 125s are very popular in both areas.
yeah. So I wouldn't doubt that at all. But it would be nice to go to a race and not have a whole class that's just proms. It would be nice to
Yeah.
have like a Yamaha Grom or a Kawasaki Grom or something else other than a Honda Grom. Don't get me wrong, I love racing the bike and I love racing with all the other Groms, but it's like, man, you can only push this Grom so much until you run out. Let's play with
Yeah.
something else. So I don't know. I think it's
No.
awesome. I'm ready for Yamaha to come out with something so I can sell my Honda and get a Yamaha. But it's you got to give and take. I love both of them respectively.
No, and plus, once you throw your leg over it and start riding it, you'll be able to see the differences, and you'll know whether or not it's worth it for you as well.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, what is the weather like over there? Simple question, but a good one because it's been.
Oh, it is chill. It's chilly. It's wet. It's leaves everywhere.
Yeah.
I put it like this. I've recently just picked myself up a new textile jacket because it's that cold
Yeah.
for me. And for Christmas, I'm wanting to get heated gloves. So
Well,
it's unpleasant. Let's put it that way.
yeah. What's the temperature right now over there? What are you averaging, I guess?
Oh, it's saying that it's. Oh crikey! I don't know what this would be in Fahrenheit for you. Um, it's saying around between 14 and 7, like a high of 14 and a low of 7
Right.
degrees Celsius or centigrade.
Right.
Celsius or
Right.
something.
Right.
Degrees C,
Right.
which I know 0 for us is 20 for yourselves. So
Well, what? Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's still well above freezing. So it is. Let's put it that way.
Well, hold on. Let me ask you this. I thought 32. I'm gonna get my phone here and see exactly what the conversion is. I could have sworn 32 degrees Fahrenheit, which is no, no, no. I'm wrong. That's completely wrong. That's for it to snow. I don't know why. I don't know why I thought that. To be honest, that was dumb. I'm sorry. But no, like over
Uh,
here, I believe it's like right now it says it's 47 degrees Fahrenheit, which is freezing right now because it's been raining this past week. It's been awful.
really?
MSX 14
Uh,
degrees Celsius is 57 degrees Fahrenheit. So you're actually a little warmer uh, than what I am over here. But it's been raining like crazy.
oh, yeah. No, I think then I'm lucky enough, but I'm still going to complain about the cold weather. Put it that way.
Yeah, you and me both, man. I can deal with cold, but I can't deal with raining and cold. It's just miserable. I don't even. It's been awful.
And you can't lane split either, so you can't like rush home through the traffic.
No, I'm so tempted to do it, but then again, I'm like, oh, I'm just not gonna do it today. But then again, I don't have to be anywhere where I have that temptation of lane split because it's pretty open where I'm at, so I don't have to worry
Well,
about it too much.
that's true.
Let me ask you this: time change. We have time change over here where I'm at. Do you guys do the same or no? Or
Yeah,
okay, cool.
we went back an hour there a week or two back, so it is. So
Yeah.
it's dark at dark in the morning, dark at night. It's I honestly I don't understand why they do it. There's
Mhm.
probably a smart reason for doing it, but it just confuses me, and my clock is now.
I'm all against it. If we can ever get it to change, I would do it because now when I go to work, I work sun up to sundown, so it's dark anytime I'm going
Yeah.
or coming. So it's pretty miserable and it's awful. So
No, my natural body clock is based around whether or not I'm sleepy or if I'm hungry. So that's a general rule of thumb as to what time it might be.
that's funny. As tiny as you are, your clock would go off how hungry you are. That's great. That's great.
Yeah. And it's
Well,
funny because it's not like I eat a lot, so it's not like I'm one of those people that are just dieting all the time. It's just like, give me food.
it's breakfast. I'm hungry.
No, it's worse whenever you like lie in and you miss a meal, and it's just like, oh no, what have I done?
Oh my god. You're secretly a fat kid at heart. You are. You just have a high
Oh, dude,
metabolism.
300 pounds or something like that.
Oh my god. That's too funny.
Actually, there is someone I asked you. Um, over here on today and on the 11th, we celebrate Remembrance Day, which commemorates all the fallen soldiers ever since the start of our. I don't want to say the British Empire because I don't think it goes that far back,
Right.
but like back from World War One and all that. Do you commemorate that on the same day, or do you have something similar?
We do like I know when the I guess you could say the anniversary or the date of like D-Day or Pearl Harbor comes up, especially
Mm.
the attacks on 9/11. That is something we definitely remember a whole lot. I can't say as far as what they do in school for it, and where I work, it's not necessarily something we do, kind of like a holiday, if you will, but it's something we all remember. It's more of
Yeah.
something that's publicly known and really reminded of that day. Like just for example, like I posted something on Instagram about the 9/11 attack back in 2001. It
Yes.
came up this year. Of course, I was gonna post something about it and really remember all those that fallen. Something crazy.
Hmm.
It's when I think of that kind of stuff too. There's a little bitty town north of where I'm at, and they actually have a wall of all the names that passed away on that day on September 11th, and it's more of a memorial,
Nice.
if you will. That's there to always remind us, um,
Yeah.
if you will. So it's actually, we do stuff like that. It's as far as how far you take it, that's really an individual basis, um, and how far you want to take it, I guess, if you will. How far you want to go as about putting an effort to remember them or what you want to do. And, there's plenty of ways to
Yeah.
get to the community and go about it. Or, you can be as, if you will, free as to do as much or as little as you want. So
Yeah.
nobody's, I guess, really made to do anything, but it's at your discretion. So.
All right. No, because as like we were saying last time we were talking, the cultures of Americans and British, they're very, very similar, but there is a lot of differences, and it's really quite, it's cool to be able to interact and to chat and understand someone else's lifestyle and point of view and just how they live. It's pretty cool, or at least I think it is, at least.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm with you on that. So that brings up my question. Now over here, we have places like Walmart and Target and Belt, um, McDonald's, Burger King, Zaxby's, Home Depot, Lowe's. I mean, I'm probably naming a lot of stuff you may or may not know, but as far as like restaurants or shopping centers or fast food chains or anything like that, do you guys have the same thing, similar? What's popular over
Well,
there? I guess.
well, as you know, I'm literally just home from church, and on the way home, I picked up a McDonald's. So that's something that is very much over here as well. So it is. We don't have Walmart. Well, we don't have Walmart. We don't have Target,
Okay.
and but we have our own sort of variations in that. They're not as diverse. Like, I'm assuming with the likes of Walmart, you can go in, you could buy your groceries, you could buy your toothpaste, you could buy a camping in and all that sort of stuff. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah.
Well, us, it's more like there's a small section of the other bits and bobs, but it's majority food based. And then you go to more specialist stores for whether or not you want other bits and bobs. But there's a lot that has trickled over, like mostly the fast food places
Right.
like KFC, McDonald's, Burger
Oh.
King. We don't have Wendy's, so I don't know what Wendy's is like.
Right.
And there, Taco Bell, we don't have that either.
Oh
So
man.
so there's a good lot that I haven't got to experience yet because for some reason people haven't been like, the UK needs this in their life.
Well, don't worry about Wendy's, man. Wendy's has no option for breakfast, so don't even worry about Wendy's.
They're dead to me.
Exactly, exactly. I'm with you on that. So that's pretty cool.
Oh,
do go ahead.
sorry. What I would like to ask you, do you know what soda bread and potato bread is?
Soda bread?
Yeah.
Nah,
What about bread?
no, I've never heard.
Oh, okay. Well, we need to change that so we do someday because over here, each like England and Scotland and all, they've got their own sort of delicacies. Scotland's got haggis. Um, for some reason, the English eat black pudding, which is essentially congealed blood, as far as I know, fried up. But what we have is a thing called an Ulster fry, and it's magical. It's sausages, bacon. Oh, if you abide by the food laws, you might not like it, but egg, and then there's pancakes, soda bread, and potato bread,
Oh my god.
and it is a delight, and it's all fried, so it's amazing. It's like a stroke in a big plate, and it's amazing. It's fantastic. But I'll
Oh
fix
my
that
god.
someday. Someday you'll be able to have soda bread, potato bread, and all the amazing things that is an ultra
Wow.
fry.
That is crazy. Oh my god. Yeah, I've never. Have you ever heard of funnel cakes? Is that an everywhere thing or is that just here?
Funnel cakes.
Yeah, funnel cake.
I don't have a clue what that is.
Oh man, it's like I guess it's the soda bread of I don't know U.S. I guess I don't even know how to explain it or what exactly it is, but a cake that's just covered with like sugar, powdered sugar, and it's what we it's a big carnival item, and it's
All right.
actually it's really bad for you. I highly don't recommend it over one or two of them in your lifetime if you ever get a chance. And I don't know how I could mail that to you without it getting ruined. So I don't know. Maybe go to a carnival or something where you're at.
Customs, they might seize it. Who knows?
I wouldn't eat it. Who knows?
Oh, no, like that's another thing which I find pretty cool. Like everywhere's got their own thing. Like over where you are, coffee is a massive thing, but for us, tea is bigger. It's more of a
Yeah.
thing, more of a accepted thing at least.
Right. Yeah. Which could be
But
a
it's
good
neat.
thing. Could be a good thing because everybody
Well,
over here jacked up on coffee could probably make for some awful positions in life, whereas people jacked up on tea could be a lot better than coffee. So who knows?
well, every time I have a cup of tea, I'm always told that there's more caffeine in that than there is in coffee.
What?
But I know apparently that's just what I'm told.
Dang.
So clearly, if it's on Facebook, clearly it's the truth.
Oh, has to be without a doubt.
It's happening whether or not it's true. It's going to happen.
Yeah, 100%.
But no. But I hear that your Coca-Cola is very different to what we have over here.
You know, I have heard that, and I believe the Coca-Cola capital and or headquarters is held in Atlanta. I believe it was actually founded in Georgia, if everything is correct of what I'm thinking. So, um, you can go down to the Coca-Cola plant and try Cokes that are from Mexico or go to Mexico, I guess. I don't know as much as like going over on your side of the world, but that you can taste the difference from what I've heard. And that was going to be my next thing. You guys have Coca-Cola, obviously, Pepsi products like Mountain Dew, I assume, and whatnot. So
Well, Mountain Dew's only came over here in maybe like the past 5 years. Still a fairly new thing, so it is for us.
wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
it was funny because like I watch a lot of the WWE, the pro wrestling thing,
Yeah,
and one of their big sponsors is Mountain Dew, and I would be sitting watching it whenever I was a wee tote, and I was like, what is that stuff? I gotta know what this stuff is.
right.
And then years later, it comes over. But I would say that there's probably a lot of a difference between what you would have and what we would have because like I'd always hear that Mountain Dew is amazing, it's fantastic, and it just seems like a regular sort of soft drink or soda, as you would put
Right.
it.
Yeah, that's too funny.
But no,
That's too funny.
it, like put it like this: I couldn't have told you who owns Mountain Dew as a company.
Right,
I couldn't have told you that.
right.
But yet, the more mainstream stuff like Coca-Cola, they own the Powerade brand and Fanta, all that sort of stuff. But I couldn't have told you about the Mountain Dew because it's just not known about as much here. Well,
Right,
at least with Northern Ireland.
right, right.
I can't speak. I can't speak for Scotland, England, and Wales.
That's funny. That's cool. Well, let's get into it. How about did you? So I think we talked about like talking about our favorite Bible verse, right?
Yes.
Okay. What's
Do you
yours?
want
What
to
did you?
first?
What's that?
Do you want to go first, bro?
Yeah, yeah. So Mackenzie said, from Canada, went to Mexico last year. Holy cow, Canada and Mexico, that's a long ways. And the pop, oh, you say pop, soda, tastes the same. Yeah, I guess I've heard both sides of that. I just don't know. I've only tasted Georgia Coke, I guess. So I don't know. I've, who knows? Who knows? But
Hey,
yeah,
you don't know until you try.
yeah, exactly. But I guess I'll go first. And one thing like I thought about when I was coming up with this, I really never have a favorite verse. They're all awesome. From the least to the greatest, they're all the same. They're
Hmm.
all spirit written. So it's
Yeah, it's
necessarily
all
I don't
God's word at the end of the day.
exactly. So it's hard to say I have a favorite, but some of them I hold more to heart than I do with others, or learn more from one than the other. wherever I'm at in my life or the season I'm going through.
Yeah.
Each one has its own personal value, I guess. Um, and
Yeah.
it'll change. So this is just one of my top verses. It's in the book of Genesis, chapter 50, verse 20, and it's basically coming from Joseph, Jacob's son. After, if you read the book of Genesis, I mean, it's a long period of just trials and tribulations to
Yeah.
finally actually being on the top half or being on the prosperous side of things, after the famine in Egypt. And it says
Hmm.
on verse 20, it says, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it all for good. He brought me to this position so I could save the lives of many people." And that was when basically Joseph, I'm sorry, Joseph had basically the same authority and powers the Pharaoh in Egypt, which he was
Hmm.
over everything. He was over the supply of grain and food during the 7 years of famine. I think Pharaoh said in one verse, he said, "No one can lift a foot or hand in all of Egypt unless you say so." So I mean, he had a lot of control, and this guy was from a foreign land in Egypt, and it's just crazy to see that, you know, that's like me going over into Iraq or Iran and actually
Yeah.
becoming the president or ruler or whatever it is out there, king, if you will, out over in there and just absolutely being the main person in the leadership position. So, and for me, that can be used in everyday life, as far as work or as far as a tragedy or a trial in my life or something going on.
Yeah.
That's directed as I would see it or as we would see it, a bad influence. Like take my R6 wreck back in January, for example.
Hmm.
I wrecked and ran into the guardrail. I really think it was just a little bit before that when I really started to hear that voice to start vlogging and really um, be in the light. And that wreck, I believe God allowed that wreck to happen. And I just think I could have
Hmm.
either looked at it as a horrible situation and could have walked away from it just bitter. I could have sold the bike as it is, which I really did have thoughts of doing that, and just absolutely abandoning uh, the bike life, if you will, just the two
Yeah.
wheel life. And then I had another voice inside of me say, you know what, this is just a little hump in the road. This is just a little hump in life.
Yeah.
It might, it was intended for harm for me, but
Yeah.
the end result and the long distance goal of this is, it's intended for my good. And that the second part of
Yeah.
that verse is that he brought me to this position and others who are going to come to this position as well to save the lives of many people. um,
Yeah.
it's hard. I'm not saying I'm saving lives or um, saving souls, but I can at least be a light and be a motivator and be an influential person,
Yeah.
hopefully, to set other people up to actually, you know, be a positive vlogger or to take their influence and use it into a positive way. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm getting my charger, so I hate to bring you around the house a little bit, but
Don't worry about it, dude.
this laptop is just draining the battery right now. But I guess that's what I get for being on a laptop, I guess. While I'm doing
Well,
this, what do you got for your favorite verse?
well, it's a lot of the same as what you said, as in there isn't really a favorite one up there. It's more of the time and how you're feeling, how he sort of puts passages on your heart. But for me, Psalm 91 verse 2 is one that I always have held very close to me, because it was really the first verse that I felt God draw me to read. Like he really put there for me to have. And it's and I will say of the Lord, he is my fortress and my he is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in him I will trust. And at the time of my life, it was I wasn't long back in having a relationship with God, and I was sort of becoming a little stagnated. Not sure what I was meant to do and what He was wanting me to do. And there was one night in bed, and He just laid that passage on my heart, and it gave me the strength then to and the courage just to go out and do His work for, like, be His instrument in whatever way He wants me to be. And that alongside John 3:16, where I think most Christians will know that one pretty well. It's just like
Yeah.
that He gave His only begotten Son because He loved us so much. He sat Son, and taking those hand in hand became very easy for me to sort of see a bigger picture, not just of myself, but what God was intending and what He was wanting from me at that time. And it's just one of those passages which it's a very small bit, but it's one that I treasure because it was really the first that He gave me, and it's like a gift from a loved one. It's just, it becomes so much more precious whenever you feel it. It's came from someone on a one-to-one basis.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
getting a bunch of cool stuff and a seal is one thing, but whenever someone goes out of their way, finds something that is very, very, very special and gives it to you personally, it gives it more meaning and more depth to you. And it's one of those passages that I love, and I thank God for it, because it really it gave me the guidance to go out at that time in my life and do what I needed to do for God.
No, definitely. That's good. That's really powerful. One thing I've been, I guess, kind of callous to, and um, you know, I guess, this weekend I missed church. Last weekend I went, and something that was really powerful that we've been talking about in my school discipleship class at church, um, as far as people giving their life to Christ, and you know, it's I kind of reflect back on to when I really gave my life back to Christ, because I got saved at I believe it was 11 or 10 years old at the time. I was really young, and I knew I needed a
Mhm.
savior. I knew the basic principle and
Yeah,
the need for one. And growing up in my teenage years, it was just one of those things. I thought, I'm covered by grace, and I can do this, and I'm fine, and I know who Jesus is. And I kind of had a misinterpretation because of my lack of knowledge where I was at.
hmm
And then the tragedy of where my nephew actually passed away, and I remember being just completely broke, and that's the only term I can use, just completely broke and empty, and just like nothing else. You know, I had nothing. It was life was literally ripped out of my life, I guess you could say, and I just remember
yeah,
being there for being at this cross that this church has, and just kneeling before it, and just having all these questions and emotions, and you know I guess that you can really say I gave my life back to Christ, if you will. And I don't want to say I had a bondage or an addiction or um, something in my life that was just bad, but I had such an
yeah,
emptiness. I had such a need for someone else to be there, for just some kind of external help, if you will. And
yeah,
seeing people at church, really being broke, and seeing not only the physical, fleshly part of it with people stepping out of faith and going down to the pulpit, like I was talking to you a little bit last week about,
yeah,
but actually seeing that spiritual battle just being fought and won right there, people actually accepting God's invitation to become saved, to have a new life through Jesus. I mean, it's I guess I'm an emotional person, but when I get filled up with the Spirit, I begin to cry, and I begin to like just tear up, and it's just such a powerful thing and such a life changing moment for them. And I know what's
Yeah,
ahead of them because I'm living it through my life. It's just, you know, it's a feeling I can't even describe. And it's not like I'm sad. I'm just overwhelmed, and with everything that comes
yeah,
with it, I just can't help but to be so happy for that person, and just to be
yeah,
overwhelmed, and to know that whatever they're coming from is crucified on the cross with Jesus, and they're a new creation in Him now. So it's just, I don't
yeah.
know. That's something that really I take to heart. So
No, it's like a lot of like I've seen a lot of. I'm one of the people too, but that our go-to response or emotion is the tears, spirit moves, and troubling point. So it is, I think, that it's it just gives you that level playing field. Sorry,
mm.
that's my youngest brother, Max.
God, you
um,
got a house full of youngins and family and sheep all
yeah.
connected.
uh, but it makes it a level playing field. It really makes you aware that there's no one better, there's no one above you or whatever. Whenever it comes to Christ, it's just Him. He's the he's the Savior. He's the one that really can. He's the only one that can save you at the end of the day. It's His love, it's His sacrifice on the cross that allows us to live today. And whenever you see people realize that and understand it and accept it, it's I think it's very hard not to be emotionally invested and feel that emotion as well, because then you'd remember your past and your time like that as well, and knowing that God has taken all that away, all the past, all the weird gray areas of your life. It doesn't mean anything anymore. He doesn't look at us as us. Whenever he looks at us, he looks at Christ. He sees Christ. He sees
Yep.
His Son, and it's because of the cross and what happened there that we're we're saved and we're free to be who we are. Like, like what's the right way to put this? Like I'll be honest. Like even today, I would still say that I would still sin daily, and it's a hard thing to openly admit, and
Yeah.
especially on the internet. But it's for me, it's very much you need to be making a very conscious decision to be not sinning, to try to not do the things of your old life. And the thing is, whenever we stumble and fall, He's still there to pick us up. He'll never leave us. He's always there for us. For whenever we do the dumb things, whenever we do the silly things and decide to do whatever, He'll still be there to go, you know what, it's okay. Give us a hug, get us back on our feet, and get us on the path that we need to be on.
That's
But
absolutely true, and it's so, I don't know. I guess it's so powerful that you mention that and you talk about that, because I do believe there's areas in our life that will immediately get transformed. I mean, it will completely change. I remember the time I really gave my life back to Christ and really just started to step daily into building a relationship with Him, and just I remember I remember asking myself, it's like, I knew for a long time I was called to do what I was called to do, or I should be doing, or hopefully I'll be doing one day. And I was like, how do I recover that past 11 years? How do I make up for that span of time and make it into
yeah,
the future? And it's kind of like that. I just got that reassurance of, don't worry about it. Time's not an issue for me anyway. That's kind of what I felt like he was saying. So, you just really have to daily pursue that relationship and continue to find them and continue to look for them, because I think it was you that said, it's not, the goal is not to be sinless, it's to sin less. And, you know,
Yeah.
once you become Christian, life really doesn't necessarily get easier. It makes life
No.
easier, but you still battle with lust of the flesh. You still battle with maybe an addiction you have, whether it be drugs, whether it be alcohol, whether it be the pride of life. Maybe it's an ego. The part that really got transformed for me first. I mean, it completely just flew out the window. It was cussing. It was swearing. Like, I mean, at work, working with all the guys, and just hard labor, and just being around so much testosterone. Like, I developed a
Yeah.
really foul mouth, and I guess with me, I guess destined to be a somewhat of a speaker, if you will. That was the first thing Jesus absolutely transformed my life. I mean, I'll admit, I've had to slip up maybe here and there, and I even believe,
Yeah.
mentally when you think about it, because it says in the Bible, it's you if you look at a woman with lust, you've already lusted,
Yeah.
So it's kind of the
You've
same
already
thing.
committed adultery with her.
Exactly, so it's kind of like that. I'm still renewing my mind of it too, and still trying to set my eyes more
Yeah.
on Jesus. But as far as me wanting to cuss or physically cussing, or I don't know, it's just gone. And there's areas in our lives that are just going to be impacted in a split second. But then there's the things that do take time, that are going to take some help from other brothers and sisters in Christ. It's going to take the help of
Yeah.
accountability partners and stuff like that. Because what it says in Scripture, all man is fallen short to the glory of God, and that's not for everybody back then. That's for everybody now, and that's to be born. And it's
Yeah.
going to happen, but Jesus made a way to where we can boldly come to the throne and ask for forgiveness instead of being like, oh, I did that. I can't. I don't want to go see him, or I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to go tell Dad I, you know, broke the vase or something, or I ripped his magazine or something
Yeah.
like that. We can boldly come to the throne, and that's really just that kind of hits home because we all slip, we all fall. It's how we get up, and if we get up, is really, I believe, the key points in our walk with the Lord. So
And also trusting that whenever we go and say to him, "Here, I messed up. I'm sorry," that having that faith and trust that he'll go, "You know what? It's okay. I forgive you." And by the way, I'm sorry if I make it the conversation interaction with God as if I word it in a very regular conversation type manner, as if I was just talking to you. But that's just the way I. If you feel awkward with that, I'm sorry. Okay, just
no,
want to get that out there real quick.
no, that's fine. That's fine. I believe that's how everybody is about it. But let's I don't know. So I this kind of pondered up, Tucker there. Mackenzie Tucker talked about the Kawasaki being automatic. I think they are making both an automatic and manual. I think. Do you know anything about that?
Honestly, I don't have. I didn't even know they were considering to make it in an automatic. I other than the pictures, it's been right off my radar. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, because I think the little bit that I looked into it, I want to say they either are making it an automatic or they're making it both. Because I could have sworn I seen one with a clutch. I think an automatic would be cool because the Grom has appealed to so many people as a whole.
Yeah,
People who've been riding for years have one. People who have just started riding have one, and people that just
yeah,
commute around town and have all kinds of other bikes have one. So I think
yeah,
the market for buyers is just growing more and more and more. And I do believe more people want to have an automatic bike, like a CVT transmission. And it's hard to do that with a faster bike, but something like a
mhm,
Grom or a Ruckus, if you will, you can do that kind of thing,
yeah.
which is cool. So I think Kawasaki doing that is going to be a game changer. I still think it would be cool to see an automatic Kawasaki race. I think that would be so cool. Um, But I don't know. To say if they're gonna have both, I hope they do. But I mean, I don't think I'll buy one, of course. But you know,
No, I think you're pretty much set with your Grom the way it is.
and
Just buy a second Grom, and there's the problem solved. Buy a second Grom.
unfortunately, I think I was talking. I believe it was you because I get so confused on the Lukes. I think it was you that said put a crash cage on it. But
Yeah,
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 I unfortunately want to do that so bad and buy another Grom to like ride around town and make my Grom now just straight race Grom. Um,
yeah,
but it's just such a hard decision. Like I want to do it, but if I'm gonna buy another bike, it's gonna be a bigger bike. And I'm like, what do I do?
yeah.
But
No,
we
it's
got.
funny because.
I was just gonna
Sorry, go ahead.
say. I was gonna say, hey to Luke. Definitely glad you could make it, buddy. Good to see you on here. So, hey Luke from Aussie. That guy
No,
all the way from there. I wonder what his time is.
Australia, crikey, oh, that's what, like 12 hours behind me? Crikey, it's a long way away.
That's a ways away for sure.
Yeah. No, it's funny because I was on that comment on Instagram. I actually said that you're stealing my idea, and it's funny because about 6 months ago, I was on Chase on Two Wheels' Twitch stream, and we
Yeah.
were chatting about the Grom and all that, and I had found a fairing kit that makes it look like a Ducati Hypermotard,
Yeah.
and about a week later, I then emailed him a parts list of all the parts I want for my Grom,
Yeah.
and it's excessive. So it is. I think the price of all the parts is more than the bike,
Yep.
but that's the advantage of the Grom over the Kawasaki because you got all that stuff to play with.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the one thing too, like with the Grom, Hard Racing has they sell the Finbro kit, and I want to say it's maybe like a 200 plus cc kit. Like it's a whole engine, transmission. It's the whole thing. You can drop out your stock engine and put this thing in. But the crappy part about it is it's almost as much of the as the bike, and it's like, man, it's like I only want to buy that thing if my engine was to ever take a crap. And then
Yeah,
Taiga has the full fairing kit too, which is cool because it makes it look like a sport bike. But then you
yeah,
get to the problem of you got to buy almost a $2,000 kit that
yeah.
it's almost as much as the bike itself. I mean, it looks cool, but I don't. Oh man, I don't know. It's just yeah. MSX Boy just confirmed it's a 232 cc, which would be so. I mean, the bike would be so fast, but I don't. It's just not worth it right now.
Yikes. No, I have heard of guys getting Honda CRF dirt bike motors and putting them in them, like they're the CRF 450 and all,
Yeah,
which is mad, I think. But I think you're going to need to be very set on making yourself a wee, like a baby race bike to put that sort of effort into it.
no kidding. And the thing about it, like we have a race series called Wera or WERA, and they have their own Grom class. And what's cool is uh, the class they run, like you have to run stock bore, so the playing field is real level. You can run race gas or whatever, bump up the
Yeah,
transmission or do head work, but at the end of the day, you've got to have a 125 cc bike, which is cool, and that's what I want to do. But I kind of get to thinking, I'm like, well, I don't think I'll ever race in Wera, so I could do like a 140, 180 kit. And, nah, I'll keep it stock. And then it's like, well, I'd rather, I still need to do my suspension setup. I still need to do the forks and the rear shock, and that's going to be like $600,
Olin's.
$800. Yeah, definitely, it's going to be Olin's for the front, but I think Green in the Box, they carry what is it? Card, CARD shocks, rear shocks, I think. Um, and I think I'm gonna do that because you can get a lot more for your money going with that than the Olins, because the Olins is
Yeah.
it's about the same price, but you get less features and benefits, if you will. So that's kind of the plus side about going that. You save a little money, but you get almost a little more quality in a way.
You see, I think with the Olin's stuff, you're paying a lot for the Olin's name with it, I'd say, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing about the
Excuse me.
Olin's name, I mean, it's obviously great product because I mean that's what a lot of the people use when they race, and it's definitely track. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? Track proven. A lot of the guys that
Yeah.
have it, they use that as advertisement, which is not bad. That's a great way to advertise your product and really provide a professional product. Don't get me wrong, because I'm going to use the Olins for my front suspension because as of right now, there's no better option for the money realistically. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm not here to say who's better than who or what's worse than what, but you know, in some sense, people that can use we have X amount of years in track experience or X amount of years in production assembly or whatever. I just kind of see that as unfortunately a bad tool to use towards marketing, because you can slap about $100, $200 more on that product and people are willing to pay for it, I guess. Just, and that's with any
Yeah.
product too. Any product. Like, I mean, I know, let's just take like gloves, for example. Kind of like the gloves I always want, which are Alpine Stars, are so expensive and it's just really the name. But then again, they've done such a good job of marketing it. I don't want to buy anything else.
Yeah, they've got their brand so well set. It's
Yeah.
just like, why would I spend what $300 say on another pair of gloves whenever the Alpine Star has everything that you'd want in it anyway?
Yeah.
Which then again, they could end up being about $300 anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's the crummy part. Um, I know it's kind of like when you go to purchase helmets, and I'm gonna get a new helmet next year, and I've got a lot of new things coming to the channel as far as like keeping it new and kind of keeping it fresh.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you saw or if I told you, and I don't even know if I put it in a video, but I recently did a photo shoot for LS2 helmets um, for their up and coming,
Cool.
yeah, for their up and coming next year's products. And I got to wear all the helmets and test them out and get photos taken of me in them, and they uh, they make a really really good helmet. And as far as the cost goes, it's really inexpensive. And what I've come to find out is
Yeah.
before they started their own line, they were making helmets for I think like HJC. Um, I want to say maybe like Shoei and or Arai. Like they were manufacturing uh,
Yikes.
basically the shell or kind of the
Mhm.
main part of the helmet. They didn't necessarily do the padding, but they did kind of the
Yeah.
more important part of it. And they were just this big factory making all these helmets for all these people. And they thought, well, let's go in and make a helmet and make it better and sell it at a lower cost because we're the middleman essentially. So you
Mhm.
know, and that's what they did, and that's what they're doing. And they have some really cool designs out. Nothing against Icon. I love my helmet now, but I feel like I'm gonna get a better helmet as
Mhm.
far as being able to see. I have a better view of sight. The style is really cool. So next year, I'm gonna make an investment into a helmet. But then again, you can say, well, you get what you pay for, or that's your pretty much your life or
Yeah.
your head you're talking about. But LS2 helmets, they're in MotoGP. So if it's
Yeah.
trusted,
Exactly. You
if it's
can't
trusted,
if it's on if it's on that track, you can't really argue the quality and the safety aspect of that helmet.
exactly, yeah, exactly. So I really don't believe, I believe in you get what you pay for, and quality comes with a price. But then again, you can you don't have to pay as much for a name at the end of the day. So
Yeah. No, I'm with you 100% in that one. Like I've got two helmets at the moment. I've got an AGV and my Icon Armada. And quality of the helmet, they're basically the exact same quality, realistically. And there was about £100 of a difference, which is maybe $160 of a price difference between the two helmets.
Yeah.
And realistically, they're both safe. They're both meeting UK legal, like road legal limits. I could take both of them on track, but realistically, I know what sort of helmet I need now, the future, like down the road. So I can better assess what is the right helmet for you, because ADV is a dual work style helmet. Armada is very much a conventional helmet, and the internal shapes are very, very different as well. So trial and error is not always a good thing, especially whenever you deal with head and protecting it on the rig.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, sure, I'll try this one. It might not work with hand out. But it's great if you can find something that will work well for you and at the same time. Yeah. But my problem is my head's that weird shape, so the only helmets realistically that fit my head shape is AGV and the Icon variant.
Yeah.
Which sounds silly, but it's just with the way their internals are, But
yeah. No, I'm with you. Well,
if it keeps my head safe.
Exactly. Well, just one last thing I think we'll cover. I kind of have an idea before we go, because I know it's getting pretty late over where you're at, and I've got some life stuff to do, as life permits, of course. But we'll end this note. MSX, I guess, said, we're talking, or I heard you talking about an endurance race on Instagram. We'll cover that real quick. Fill you in on it too, because I don't know if you know too much about it. And
I don't, I'll be honest.
Okay, cool. So we'll cover that, because we've basically hit on everything else today, and then we'll sign this one off. So basically, what has happened in the past couple of months is there's another race organization called UMRA, and they have this big race out in California, where they call it it's kind of like a mini GP, they call it, and it's a 24-hour mini bike endurance race, and it's on a it's I'm just getting started. It's on a middle-sized go-kart track, and what's crazy is, this year I've progressed, to my ability. I've progressed far better than I would have ever thought, as far as my riding skill goes, and learning and knowledge and everything like that. So I've been very thankful and blessed to be placed in people's lives, and to learn and to grow, and to actually get more involved with racing and riding motorcycles, period. So, there's this guy out in California who's putting a team together for next year's 24-hour endurance race. And keep in mind, they have a Grom class, they have a 50cc class, they have an XR, kind of a 100 class, just mostly bikes under 150 cc's. And obviously they'll all be on the track at the same time, of course, but you're fighting for your class win, of course. So there's this guy out in California. He contacted one of my buddies I race with about me being on the team. He didn't contact me directly, because he didn't have any way of getting in contact with me. And he goes, "Hey, are you still thinking about doing that race?" Because I talked about it. I said, "Man, if I could do that, that'd be great. I would totally do that. That'd be awesome." And he said, "You plan on doing it?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd really like to do it if I could get on a team." And he goes, "Well, this guy, his name's Brock." He goes, "Brock wants you on your team, and we're putting a team together next year, and you're on it." I said, "What? What? Do what?" So he screenshotted me the list of the riders, and sure enough, his name was on it, by Faithridingjohnny. I was like, get out of town. And you know,
That is awesome.
it's pretty unreal, and it's progressively gotten better. We've got Aaron Colton is gonna probably be on the team. He's a stunt rider for Red Bull, and then we're trying if scheduling permits for Josh Herron to be on the team. If Moto America doesn't
Nice.
if Moto America doesn't get in the way as far as the schedule, he said he's down to do it.
Yeah.
So um, I think we're gonna have an ideal shot of 7 riders in this team, and we're splitting it up between 105 minutes of riding on the Grom. So, and we're gonna take 2 sessions, which is 210 minutes of riding a Grom, which is pretty unreal. I would have never thought riding a Grom for an hour would be entertaining, but it's pretty.
Dude, that sounds amazing. So it does.
Yeah, and like the opportunity in itself is just unreal, and I'm ready. Just if I could go out there next month and go racing, I would. But I've got to put I've got to save my money for that plane ticket. Got to save money for
Yep.
for food, gas, rent. I don't know, parts. Who knows what I'll need money for? But
Yeah.
it's definitely an experience I'm not gonna regret not doing, for sure.
Yeah, and it's not when you want to pass up either.
No way. I mean, it's without a doubt a must-do event. I don't care what it takes. I'm gonna do it. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, that's kind of what all that's about, and a little bit more info on that. So it's pretty cool.
Well, that sounds awesome right there. So it does. And it's a pity that I'll not be able to watch it.
I'm I'll definitely, obviously, I'm gonna buy maybe 3 or 4 GoPro batteries to almost record kind of the whole experience, from the flight to the track to onboard footage, kind of an overview. But I'll be doing so much, I'm kind of afraid I won't be able to film any of it too, because I'll
Yeah.
be focused on, racing and getting prepared and.
And plus, you don't know what the track owners are like with having cameras on the helmets, because I know that's a touchy subject for some track owners.
Yeah, definitely it is. You're absolutely right. And some are different than others. Some allow it and some don't, and it's a fine line you don't really want to cross either. But
Yeah, you don't really want to push your luck too far.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And this is a good question to end out the whole deal with, because Mackenzie Tucker said, "Are you planning on doing this every Sunday?" As for my part on it, I don't think we should do it every Sunday just because of life. Um, I know
Mhm.
you have a life, I have a life, but I do want to do the live stream more oftenly, because this is pretty cool, and if we can get more people involved with it, I think that would be really cool. Kind of having
It would be
more of a
awesome,
chat.
so it would.
Yeah, because it's basically, to me, like a small group. Just get it as large as we can. I was thinking, I was actually thinking on the way home, maybe do this once a month to start out with. It doesn't have to be a set day or whatever,
Yeah.
but maybe just do one every month. I think that would be really cool. And like they
Mhm.
call it a Google Hangout, we're just hanging out and talking and hanging out with all these
Yeah.
guys, and really doing a little bit of Bible study and doing a lot of people interaction. So I think it would be cool if we definitely did this more often, and
Yeah,
more into it.
it'd be pretty cool just to be able to share it as well with people. It'd be pretty awesome, so it would.
Yeah, absolutely. So as far as the next one goes, for the people that are curious, I mean, I don't know when exactly we'll do the next one. We'll just have to play it by ear and keep everybody updated, of course. But the sky's the limit, and what got implanted into your head, Luke. Who knows where it's gonna go? So all we can do is hopefully just keep being obedient and keep doing it, doing what we're
Yeah.
doing, and keep having fun and keep glorifying the Lord. So
Yeah, if we can just help plant a seed, that's all. If we can do these One is it, one is it, and we don't really have a foot to stand on if I say no. So yeah, it's hopefully it turns out to be a blessing for someone at least
Yeah,
in some
absolutely.
way. I know for me it is getting to chat with you personally, Johnny, and interact with some cool people in a chat as well. It's awesome to be able to do that, and
Yeah,
I feel very blessed to be able to do it with you as well.
yeah, absolutely. You and me both, man. Because it's at work I got to share. I get to chat with this Sunday. I get to chat with a guy from Ireland on the internet on YouTube. So it's so cool to tell that for sure. Um, it's
Yeah.
it's definitely fun, and hopefully I get a lot out of it. Probably as much as you get out of it, and hopefully those that
Hmm.
that watch get something out of it too. Whether it's just hanging out or whether it's actually getting their daily word in or whatever. So one thing
Yeah.
I thought would be cool if we did before we say our goodbyes and everything like that, or end it out, if you will. We could you don't have to, but we could maybe join in the faith riding Johnny signing off with a prayer, and we could all switch off, and we get new guys in, we could get them to do it, and we could however you want to do it, man. I thought that would be pretty cool. So
Well, I was actually going to ask you if you wanted to pray at the end of this. So it was. So yeah, it only feels right, so it does.
yeah, exactly. Right on, right on. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and pray, and then we'll say our goodbyes. Well, I guess we'll say our goodbyes now, and then we'll pray it out,
Yeah.
and then I don't know. We'll update everybody on the next one. Update all you guys on the next one, and I'm gonna hopefully do this sometime soon for sure. So
Yeah. This has been great, and I look forward to the next one. And a real quick plug here for everyone in the chat. I need your personal help. Right. Johnny has got a Teespring store, right? And there's a shirt on it who's got one reserved on it, and you need three. I think it's three. So I really want this shirt, okay? So I need you to go over to Johnny's Teespring store and order one so that I can get this awesome shirt, okay? And
and
I'm pretty sure you can find the link to it in Johnny's About section on YouTube. So that would do me a massive favor. But that
yeah,
plug out of the way.
yeah, and just to clarify it too, to make sure I get it right too, it's the Ride by Faith one, right?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys, there's a couple different ways you can do it. You guys can go directly to the YouTube channel, and there's a Teespring um, icon somewhere here or a link here, somewhere roundabout there. You can go to the Teespring campaign there. Another way you guys can do it is go to www.teespring.com slash store slash FR Johnny, and that'll take you to my store where I have the hoodies, I have the Ride by Faith shirt, and the OG triple OG FRJ T-shirt, which hopefully if you guys want some, just meet the reserve of three, and we'll get those shipped out. So, but yeah, definitely, we put a long reserve on that, so that way we can I can get one. My wife
Yeah.
wants to get one. I love the idea. Period. So,
I'm
uh,
I'm sorry about the shameless, like the shameful plug. It says I really want the shirt, so I want as many people as possible to order it, so that I'm guaranteed to get one.
no, definitely. If anything, I think me and Chelsea will buy one, so you'll definitely get one. Because I know I want one, and I have to wait till payday to get it. So I'm with you on that too.
uh,
Because I
no.
I unfortunately have to pay for it as well. I don't get no discount. I don't get no nothing. I have to pay like
but
everybody
but
else.
hey, but you get an awesome shirt with your own logo and all the cool stuff on it anyway.
Yeah, no, that's the coolest part about it. That's the coolest part about it. Well, cool, man. It's been fun. It's been fun hanging out with
It's
all
been
these
awesome,
guys,
so it has.
hanging out with you. So, if you're ready to pray, I'll pray, and we'll end this one out, man.
You go ahead, brother. You lead away.
All right, man. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this wonderful day. Thank you for awesome communion. Thank you for awesome people. Thank you for a great community, and thank you for allowing us to share your light and your love, Lord. Thank you for um, sending the right people in our life. Thank you for blessing us with great friends and great family, Lord. I pray that you keep sending us visions, that you keep sending us dreams, and keep sending us the willingness to strive and to work for greater things than ourselves, Lord. I thank you for all that you've done for us. I pray that you give us a good night's rest and a great work week, Lord, and we always find ways to glorify you and to be what you would have us to be. And I thank you for the calling that you have in each and every single one of our lives. And I thank you for personal goals and dreams that we all have the right and the power and the strength to pursue them through your Son Jesus. Lord, keep us safe as we come and go. I pray a blessing over all of us, and I pray a blessing over Luke and all the viewers and watchers that's been in the stream today. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right,
Good.
brother. Well, it's been fun. It was good to hang out with you again and hang out with all you guys. And I'll see you guys next time, social media, on the next video, whatever it may be. I'll see you then.
All right, sure. Thanks a lot for having us, and I look forward to the next time.
All right. See you guys later. Thanks again.